Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for The Plague. This one is going to be doing our next video for The Plague. I know, you guys were there was quite a bit of demand, actually, surprisingly, because I didn't know there would be or not, but there actually is quite a bit of demand from you guys. You guys want to see some weekly videos for The Plague, at least weekly, at least one a week. I'll definitely start doing more videos for The Plague once we actually get closer to the release for The Plague, new series, the Plague Reality number 2. But until then, we we have some stuff to kind of reflect on from the old series that we haven't really done videos on yet. So this one is going to be a video that you guys have been wanting to see for a long time, and I've intended to do it sooner. I really have. But just with everything else, this kind of discussion topic kind of fell back in the priority list, which I know it shouldn't have, but it did. So to get started for this one, so this is going to be a Anthony character spotlight. Now, of course, you guys know he is my favorite character in The Plague. He is my favorite character all the way through the series, and that probably will never change, even in this other series as well. But I'm super excited to see what we get to see from the second show with Anthony, but with the main show at the very beginning of the Plague, universe, with the first 4 seasons, Anthony has gone through more than any of the other characters have, if you ask me. He starts off in season 1. So basically, in the first season, he kind of is, because he's hiding in this little military base or whatever, and of course he meets Corey. They go and of course Anthony goes into the city, and Corey is captured in the process by Andy. So we get to see him kind of come in as a villain. We get to see, him kill Corey, of course, and Anthony kind of, afterwards, after the, death of Corey, kind of realizes that, this guy's not going to leave him alone, most likely, and he needs to find a group to, to kind of, help him fight Andy and his people. So that's what he does when, of course, he meets Clyde, and we get to see kind of like a face reveal type scene where he takes off the mask and we get to see his actual, face. And Clyde takes him back to the community. So basically, Clyde gets the Plague. Of course, we get to kind of see our first character get the Plague in, season 1, episode 5. And of course, we go over all the stages and stuff like that. And Anthony kind of learns. And then, of course, in the finale, they attack Andy's camp. And of course, they, put Andy in a prison cell. So, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed kind of everything they did with, Anthony in the first season, and I really think that through the first episode of the first season to the finale, they really, he went through a lot in just that one season, but that's not all. Season 2, of course, we get to see him run into Scott. So, he, of course, has a girlfriend now who, her name is Sandy, of course, and we get to kind of, in the early few episodes, he makes a deal with Scott to kind of keep his people safe, and of course, Scott wants him to attack this other group, so that's what Anthony does, but of course, Andy gets out and tells Scott that Anthony is, going to basically screw him over, so he didn't do that, and, then we get to see probably one of the craziest episodes of the series where Anthony and Blake are the only ones left standing in season 2, episode 4, which was definitely one of the craziest episodes of a TV series I've ever seen. But of course, after that, after all the deaths and all that stuff in that episode, Anthony kind of is more angry than he's probably ever been towards a villain, and he, loses his community, and his people are kind of, left, have no choice but to go to the wood factory and turn that into a home. So that's what they do, and of course, you've got Anthony who gets captured by Scott, and then you kind of wrap things up with, some of the episodes here, like when Garrett is killed, and then, of course, in the actual finale, getting to see Derek, come in as, of course, Anthony's son. So, then we get season 3. So, of course, season 3 takes place 2 years later, and it's kind of a different feeling show, I feel like, from season 2 to season 3. and they, him, Derek, and John go out on a run to like this high school, and they run into somebody named Victor, and also somebody named Diego. So of course, Anthony's son kind of acts up, and he doesn't really listen to Anthony anymore, and he wants Anthony to teach him, how to drive a car and do things like this, because honestly, in a zombie apocalypse, more than any time in the real world, you're gonna have to know how to defend yourself or be able to do things like, drive a car, stuff like this. So I really like kind of how, but Anthony kind of wants to protect him, so he doesn't really want Derek doing something that could possibly get him killed and get, Anthony killed. So Anthony kind of just wants to play it safe when it comes to his son. But of course, his son kind of acts out and kind of joins Victor's group, and, stuff really starts to get intense around this time. So, we get deaths throughout the entire season, we get action throughout the entire season, Anthony being captured, and we see Scott kind of redeem himself in season 3 as well, which I thought was really cool. But Anthony, of course, in the second half, gets abandoned by John and the others, which I thought was an interesting twist and an interesting idea. And, after kicking out his son, John, Connor, and the others just don't really want to, be with Anthony right now. They kind of don't want Anthony to be their leader anymore, and John and the others kind of leave. But of course, we get to see Anthony run into two of secretly Victor's, soldiers, and of course, they kind of in the episodes, the one dies in the plane, but the other one kind of screws Anthony and Scott over. So, it's really exciting all the way through, and then of course leads up to what is a incredible, I might add, season finale with the death of his son Derek, which was just the scene where you see him just falling off. I mean, that was one of the most crazy scenes I've ever seen. And the goodbye scene was just, it was really one of the most emotional things in the series, that we'll probably ever see. But, of course, in season 4, we skip, 6 months. He is kind of in a relationship with Samantha around this time. We get the news that Samantha is actually pregnant, and they basically are kind of trying to, build something. And I really like how, there's some people in the group that are not really listening to what Anthony and Samantha are saying. Like, John specifically, who wants to kill Anthony around this time. And also Blake, that kind of is forced by John to kill Anthony. So that's what he tries to do, and of course Anthony kind of ends up killing him, and it's kind of this whole thing. But it's just, it's really a crazy kind of turn of events that John isn't 100% loyal to Anthony, and I really like how that kind of played through. And then of course we have Anthony's last episode that kind of comes through here with the ninjas, and it's one of the most amazing episodes ever. And we see Derek, we see these hallucinations, we see tons of things like this, but at the same time, we even get to see Corey in his last episode too, which I thought was a really cool idea. But it's like he doesn't die, which I thought was pretty interesting. And of course, now, to end this video and to kind of just give me hope for this second show, is that he does survive. They make it seem like Anthony dies in the series finale, but in actuality, he is going to be in this spin-off series, and it looks like Anthony is going to be part of the next Plague show that is going to be in March 2020. So, just super exciting stuff, and for Anthony's character, all the way through from being in the military base to meeting some guy named Corey, simply just a simple beginning of a story like that, end of the world type situation, all the way to having a group of people that are his, like, family, and, having everything he wanted to have. And also, not only that, but also almost it looks like, saving the actual world from the plague, and kind of this whole cure idea kind of coming in at the end of the series. So, I don't know, I just love it. I think it's really cool, and Anthony kind of being the ultimate hero, in my opinion, of the Plague series, and I just love it. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love the way they handled his character, and without a doubt, my favorite character in the Plague, and always will be until, I mean, unless they introduce somebody way better, but I don't see that happening now, in the other series or something. But man, what an awesome character to watch throughout the series. So, anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Write your comments in the comment section below, and of course, do you guys want to see another video for the Plague next week? Just write that down in the comment section below, and of course, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys really soon for another video. Peace.